It's time to discourse, analyze, inform, educate, entertain, and change the narrative. Trends in Africa, changing the narrative.
Hi everyone, my name is Ngozi Bell.
My name is Robert Opara.
And I'm excited to be part of this new programming that is called the Urban and Business Trends in Africa. UBTA will be featuring stories from all around this great continent. We'll talk about the issues. We'll talk about the opportunities. We'll talk about the trends. We'll talk about the successes. We'll talk about the failures too. We'll talk to the youth. We'll talk to women. We'll talk to industry leaders. We'll talk to government officials and everyone in between.
We're going to be looking at issues of business in Africa. We're going to be looking at investments that are coming into the African region.
UBTA will be concerned about the disenfranchised and the enfranchised. We'll talk to the global leaders who have done amazing things outside and learn from them on how they can do the same things within the continent.
Looking into the Africa that we know and the Africa that we also don't know.
So join us in February as we launch this amazing program, UBTA, coming to a TV station near you.
Welcome to UBTA Television Live,
where the conversations are about you and I.
Welcome to UBTA. My name is Robert Opara, and we are in a very, very precarious season, political season, if you will. So much has happened across Nigeria, these past few days. The elections in Nigeria for this 2023 has become the hottest topic that a whole lot of people are ready to engage different kinds of people and discuss it exhaustively, if that's a better language. And of course, so many people are not happy about what has happened, especially with the INEC ways of trying to prepare this nation for an election as huge as what has just taken place in Nigeria. And of course, just like I said, as I just opened this program, this is the most important election Nigeria can ever face, because in 2023, this is like prediction that has actually taken place in Nigeria for so many reasons, because a lot of Nigerians have placed quite a lot of faith on a project as this, and a lot of people have actually placed a whole lot of faith and trust on the shoulders of the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. Has he actually succeeded so far? Has there been anything that shows that he's not up to the task of this huge job that's been bestowed on his shoulders? Nigerians will have to be the ones to judge. But I'm here today to discuss what went on during this election, and also what Nigerians are expecting, to happen under this, this young man's, leadership of INEC. And so we are going to be discussing about this election that so far Nigerians are divided in what they think that should be a success of this election. And of course, UBTA will be looking at this program, this project, this huge project that Nigerians have been looking forward to for a success. Actually, that's what I'm going to be looking at this afternoon. Like I said, my name is Robert Opara, and of course, my colleagues, Ngozi Bell, and of course, Okezue, and my other colleague will be available here by next, weekend. And of course, they are out there doing other stuffs that pertains to this great task that we've, given to ourselves. So let's start looking at the 2023 elections. Whichever part of Nigeria you're living, whoever that by whatever profession that you have in Nigeria, the concerns of every part of this country shows that people are not actually too strong in being satisfied on this election that has just gone past. And so what we are trying to do is to unveil and open up the system about what has happened. Are Nigerians happy? Are Nigerians comfortable with the way INEC has handled this election process? If you're okay with what has happened, of course, look at our phone contacts and details. You can also reach us to have a lively discussions about this election. But for now we'll be looking more at what could have happened or what should have happened during this election. Like I said, like I asked this question, did the INEC people live up to their billing? Did they actually understand the feelings of Nigerians in terms of pushing these narratives beyond what they think or what they have in their heads and all that? So at the end of the day, the failures, the perceived failures that Nigerians have touted on this occasion, and a lot of people are saying that Mahmoud actually failed Nigerians on this occasion. That I cannot be the one to say it, but from what we know, from what we have seen, from the information that we've filtered from different geopolitical zones in Nigeria, Nigerians are not happy. Nigerians are worried that we have missed yet another opportunity to be a great country and a great democratic nation. And so many people, called us. So many people have engaged us. So many people have said so much about this election. Are we going to get it right? And a lot of them are saying that if we actually get this wrong, that will take Nigeria back to a whole lot of years behind us. And so what we are going to be looking at today will also be what will be the chances of Nigeria actually, and INEC getting back what we have lost, the mileage that we've actually lost. Can we get it right? Is it possible that we can actually get it right again? Because for what we have gathered from all the viewers, from what we have gathered from Nigerians, from all the vox pops that we've had around the country, people are uncomfortable, absolutely uncomfortable by what has gone on during this, election process. And of course, I will be talking about all the currency issues, all the currency fiascos, what has happened, what didn't happen, and all that. Of course, that is why we're here, and we'll be looking at it again and again and again and again. I'll be taking a time out, and I'll get back to you shortly.
Hi, my name is Okezue Bell, and I'm one of the leaders of the Urban and Business Trends in Africa program as a youth ambassador. As a young person whose innovations have spanned the disability and inclusion industries to sustainability to financially marginalized communities, I've seen the impact that we young people can have. I've hosted workshops around the globe reaching youth and individuals of color of over 65,000 people. And so because of this, I'm so excited to join the UBTA program because I think it's vital that we engage youth in some of these really important conversations regarding the social issues that rage rampant in our world today, from climate change to poverty to social justice. And by eliciting responses from these youth and engaging them in conversations, we are sure to build a better future. So I'm so excited to partner with UBTA to engage the youth of the African diaspora, and particularly the Nigerian subcontinent. As entrepreneurship and innovation continue to rise, we can create an impact.
Hello, everyone,
Welcome to UBTA Television Live.
where the conversations are about you and I. Hello, everyone,
Welcome to UBTA Television Live.
where the conversations are about you and I.
Welcome back. And of course, like I said before the break, we will be engaged, looking at the perceived failures of this election in the past few days and all that. Let's look at these beavers, the equipment that every single Nigerian so far knows about it, and everybody looks at, forward to the huge success of this election, because this election success, perceived success, was actually laid out on the shoulders of beavers and INEC. And of course, INEC, taunted this equipment as a world-class equipment. Of course, it is a world-class equipment, but was it put to use naturally the way and technically the way it should be? The answer to this, Nigerians have said, no. They did not put this equipment to use the way it should be normally handled. And at the end of the day, the fiasco that came on board, or rather came on during this electoral process and election process, shows that Nigerians, even those that are complete illiterates in technicalities of equipment as this, everybody has become an expert. Everybody has become knowledgeable about what these beavers stuff should have done. It should have actually given to Nigeria as a huge success. But for now, do we really have a choice? The election, people are insisting that this election must be cancelled. Quite a whole lot of people are saying that this election must be cancelled. But cancellation, can Nigeria actually bear the brunt of the heat if this election is cancelled? And at the end of the day, what now happens if the election is cancelled? So I am not of this school of thought. We are right here not, part of this school of thought that this election should be cancelled. We are okay. We are okay. Our team and Nigerians that we spoke to about are also saying that it is okay that this case has gone to Supreme Court. I'm not too sure that we should be diving into the Supreme Court case right now. But what we know is that Nigerians are comfortable that at the end of the day, justice must come to Nigerians. And people are telling us that if this succeeds, Nigerians will succeed. And if this fails, that shows that Nigeria is in a serious dilemma. And so what that means is that whatever that this government, the outgoing government, needs to do, the government of His Excellency Alhaji Buhari, whatever he needs to do to ensure that this election ultimately succeeds must be done. That's basically what Nigerians are saying. Just like Atiku Abubakar a few days ago, he went on a protest march, here in Abuja, and that protest march, all he's saying is that we need to have a good outing that Nigerians and the world community must say that this is a perfect election result, and that because a result that is miscued at the end of the day may bring a whole lot of processes that we may not be able to handle. So I think it's important that Nigerians, queue behind the government so far, and even though the government during this election process shot themselves in their own feet, because it's not possible that a matter as huge as electoral process as this will be distracted again and again and again because of the huge currency fiasco that wasn't planned and all that. So we think, Nigerians are also thinking that bringing in the currency distraction into this electoral season was a miscued agenda, and it did not tally with the aspirations of Nigerians. Yes, His Excellency Alhaji Buhari said that, of course, his argument is that this election, we need to get it right because so many people want to buy this election with money and all that. But to what extent has he succeeded in doing this? If you go to POS points here in Abuja, you will also notice that at the end of the day, the plans of the government in the areas of ensuring that this currency infusion into the system during the election will not succeed. But as we speak today, the old banknote is back. And so what was that all about in ensuring that this election was distracted, the focus was distracted, and at the end of the day, we are still back to square one. So bottom line, what we are saying on a program as this is that for us to succeed going forward, just like I said, it's okay that this case has been lodged within the precinct of the Supreme Court. We are hoping and praying that the success or the result of coming out of the Supreme Court will not be able to scatter this country at the end of the day. So we are all praying that at the end of the day, INEC will ensure that a process as this must succeed, basically. So going into the failures around the country in terms of these beavers, the only thing Nigeria are expecting from this government, whether it is up or down or square or round, what they want is a successful outing on an election season like this. And so what we are saying on a program as this is that beavers or no beavers, this election must succeed, because there are so many people that have laid out a whole lot of traps that if this election fails, then Nigeria must have failed. And we are praying that Nigeria must not fail, because what is laying ahead may not be a mama and papa story. So we are also asking the government to put their hands on the deck to ensure that this election season will not be a crisis-ridden process. And I'm happy that a lot of parties, Peter Ob's party, have actually committed to ensuring that there won't be any crisis under their watch. And so what we are also saying that since a lot of these parties that have signed on to democratic norms, we are asking that these democratic norms, this push for ensuring that Nigeria succeeds in this election season must be followed to the latter. So basically, that's what we're going to be asking this government to do. But at the end of the day also, the 6 geopolitical zones in this country, a lot of them are also gearing for a fight. That is for sure. So it's going to be very, very difficult for the southeast or northeast or northwest or the other 3 zones to win this process without people clamoring for either a repeat or clamoring for a fight or whatever. So we are asking Nigerians to shield their swords for now until the authentic result of this election is announced. Once it is announced, I'm sure the prayers a whole lot of people are putting up so far will not fail this country. Let's take a short break and I'll be right back on this program.
It is time to discourse, analyze, inform, educate, entertain, and change the narrative. Trends in Africa, changing the narrative.
Welcome back. By the way, for those that are gearing for a fight, those that are pushing the boundaries of fight, those that are insisting there must be a fight before this whole stuff will be resolved, let them take their minds back to the last fight Nigeria had with Biafra. And is this something that Nigerians can bear again? Most nations, a whole lot of nations that went into internal fights twice, they hardly succeed. So it is better that we don't even go there. So at the end of the day, what we are saying on UBTA is that what we need to do is to ensure that every hand is on deck, to ensure that whether whatever happens, let's sit round the table to ensure that this election will be resolved proactively, without any fight, without any gunshot, without any bloodshed anywhere in any part of this country. So what we're also saying is that the leadership of this country, those that are running the presidency these days, is even very difficult to even ask who is in charge, because at the end of the day, in this country, it looks like nobody's in charge. But I'm sure the president himself is aware of what is happening, and I'm also sure that the security agencies are actually rounding up so many miscreants that are threatening this nation. I'm sure that the presidency and the security agencies, they have their jobs cut out for themselves. So at the end of the day, we are hoping that those potential miscreants, those that want to inflame this country, will be dealt with appropriately without causing major harm or major mayhem in any part of the country. So I'm also going to be saying and repeating myself over and over again that this country, all of us are part of this country. Whether you are from the southeast, whether you are from the northeast or northwest or southwest or north central and all that. You and I are part of this great nation. It's a shared common destiny that we have to show our children. It's a shared value, shared dreams, prosperity. That is why we are all coming together as a nation. Yes, a nation can have misunderstandings. They can have, fights, not like a war or whatever. But at the end of the day, a whole lot of mistakes, a whole lot of misunderstandings are taken care of on a round table. And what I'm saying again is that our colleagues, our multimedia colleagues across the country, we will need to ensure that we don't fan the embers of destruction in a nation as this. Because if it happens again and again and again, we may not survive it. And those of our colleagues that are also shouting their voices hoarse because they have vested interest. When a big or huge fight like this happens, those that are lighting up these matches and putting up a keg of petrol, waiting for disasters to happen in a nation as this, it's not going to go well with a nation like this. We are devoting this program today, just to talk about this issue. We are devoting this program, we are walking around this program today. We are having just myself to run this program today to ensure that we don't get into a process where Nigerians will implode and we don't know where we are headed to. So all we are saying at this program today is that, of course, my colleagues will be back here by next weekend, and we'll give this thing another shot. We'll look at what has happened between now and next weekend, and we'll also be looking at it. We'll be ensuring that we take it one step at a time. And until we get it right, until we get the result right and all that stuff, we may not be able to do any other program until we get this, particular program right. Because Nigeria is important to all of us. Nigeria is a nation of value. If you travel to US, if you travel to Germany, if you travel to UK, if you travel to France, if you travel to Dubai, you will begin to value the worth of Nigeria and all that. So what we are saying over and over again is that this nation must not implode. It must not implode because for what people are saying, a lot of us, we virtually live inside inside television houses in this country. So we understand what goes on. We understand the proddings of fracas. We understand the proddings of mayhem. We understand the proddings for mayhem where people are saying, why are you wasting your time because of the northeast, southeast, southwest, and all these divides that we have in this country? They'll say, why are you not allowing these miscreants that call themselves politicians to implode? If they implode, what becomes the consequences? What becomes the fate of this country? What becomes the fate of the children yet unborn? What becomes the fate of these children that are 1 year old today, 2 years and 3 years and 5 years? What becomes of their fate? Look at what is going on in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine. That is not a palatable sight. It's not something that you can look at and you wish it upon a serene nation as Nigeria again and again and again. So what we are saying repeatedly on this program is that UBTA will support anything that will bring peace. UBTA will support anything that will bear fruits of peace. UBTA, with our contacts in the international community at different embassies in this nation, we are also reaching out to ensure that they are aware. Of course, our security agencies are all over the place, but it is important that these embassies and agencies of foreign nations that are present in Nigeria, they also need to understand. They also need to understand that they cannot do the divide and rule processes that they are used to. So all we are also saying is that a country as huge and as important, as strategic in world affairs cannot just go ahead and implode because of one election. So we are asking everybody to join hands to ensure that Nigeria cannot implode. We are asking everybody to be part of a peaceful resolution of whatever that is going to be ahead of all of us going ahead. So for UBTA and our programs and all we need to do, what we're saying on a daily basis, what we'll keep saying is that this agenda, the agenda of miscreants, the agenda of those that don't wish Nigeria well, can never survive. I'll be right back shortly.
Hello, everyone,
Welcome to UBTA Television Live.
where the conversations are about you and I.
It is time to discourse, analyze, inform, educate, entertain, and change the narrative. Urban and business trends in Africa, changing the narrative.
Yes, welcome back. Looking at next week, looking at a few weeks ahead of us, UBTA, of course, will be divided into different segments. These segments will take care of different narratives and different structures of what we are trying to achieve with a project as this. And UBTA will also have a news analysis segment that will ensure that all that we need to handle on a program like this, news-wise and analysis-wise, will also be handled by a segment as this. And of course, UBTA also has a segment that we call the diaspora process. And of course, other segments that will be coming live on a program like this. Of course, my colleagues, working with us in the studio, my co-hosts, our co-hosts, they'll be ready to take their seats by next week. And this program will come alive, full blast by next week, Saturday. By the way, UBTA, Urban and Business Trends in Africa, is also an Africa-centered project. It's a project that looks at what Africa brings to the table in the world's community. It also looks at what every single Nigerian, every single state in Nigeria will bring to the table in terms of human and material resources, and ensuring that whatever contributions that your ethnic zone is bringing to the table, these are things that we will be looking at in a program like this. And of course, we will also be looking at Nigeria. We'll be looking at health issues. We'll be looking at economic issues. We will be looking at economic empowerment issues across the nation. And we'll also be looking at Africa in a holistic manner, because Africa must report Africa to Africans. We cannot always let foreign agenda to be foisted in a nation as this. Nigeria boasts of international journalists. Nigeria can boast of a whole lot of men and women of journalistic integrity that have worked through the length and breadth of different countries. And so we are going to bring to the fore a typical agenda that will help Nigerians to push ahead. I remember, 10, 15 years ago, when I was running a program on AIT. And of course, running that program, Diplomatic Discourse, gave me an experience. It gave me the impetus to do the kind of things we are doing in Nigeria of today. I remember flying into Amsterdam. I got into Amsterdam and I noticed that a whole lot of Nigerians were huddled in a section of that aircraft. And of course, the program that I went to do in Holland was sponsored by the Dutch government. And I made inquiries and I was told that quite a lot of them didn't have regularized documentations. I took that up with the Dutch embassy in Nigeria. I took that up with my hosts in The Hague. And at the end of the day, we got talking, and I noticed that quite a lot of Nigerians seated on the floor of that aircraft were just based on suspicion. That suspicion is, you don't have your passport. We suspect that this passport is forged. We suspect that you didn't get this passport through the right source and all that stuff. This was what they were asking Nigerians, and they were forcing them to say yes, they had a forged passport. And of course, as a Nigerian, as a full-blooded Nigerian, I waded into that issue, and within the 2-3 days that I spent in Hague, I ensured that those that sponsored me to that program in Amsterdam actually took up that matter, and a whole lot of Nigerians that were ready to be deported back to Nigeria, they got a reprieve. The same thing that happened in India and all that. Similar issues like that have happened in different countries where I've been. Because at the end of the day, what they are looking for is an excuse to deport Nigerians coming back, to their country. And at the end of the day, I came back to Nigeria, and I reported that matter to the Indian embassy, and they took it up. Quite a lot of those Nigerians were compensated. Those of them that were deported and those of them that weren't deported, what happened was that they ensured that next time their passport was not flagged down. So what I'm saying is that it's important that Nigerians play their role within the international community. It's important that we play the kind of roles that is expected of us in the Committee of Nations. And so for us, for a program as this, we will use this program to push the narratives, to push the frontiers of ensuring that our journalists, our media practitioners are also. That's why I'm so proud of someone like my friends and colleagues in different news media channels as we speak today. And so I can understand it that these are new programs that are springing up here and there. So at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that it is important that we support our media practice. It is important that Nigerians and Nigeria should not be left out of serious discourse across the nation. So at the end of the day, a program that comes up and used to sensitize Nigerians within and outside Nigeria will be supported, should be supported, and should be based on rehashed research, so that at the end of the day, we will not go starting afresh what we have to do as a nation. We have quite a lot to do in Nigeria. There's so much that we need to do in Nigeria. There's so much lessons that we need to learn, not just about this election. Election as this will teach us to be humble. Election like this will also show us that we will do our best, our own best, to showcase the talents that Nigerians have in every part of the world. So that at the end of the day, this program that comes alive every Saturday will get better. A program as this on a weekly basis with the news analysis, with different kinds of narratives and topics coming through, it shows that we will be bent on getting out the best out of Nigeria. We will get the best out of the content that we are going to be building from the backdrop of our experiences across the board. And so, coming back to the election, coming back to the Supreme Court, coming back to the appeal court, coming back to electoral arguments, bottom line is that we must showcase the talent that has been embedded in a country as this. It's no longer about oil and gas. It's no longer about petrodollar. It's no longer about sharing the money that is coming out from all issues related to NNPC, all issues related to Nigerians' wealth within and outside the country. And so bottom line, we will need to come back to brass tacks. We need to come back as a nation. After this election, our advice on a show as this is that appointment to the leadership of a sensitive project as INEC must never come because of geopolitical consideration. It must not be that the INEC chairman must come from Southeast zone, Northwest zone, different zones of the country, and that every other arrangement, every other zone cannot actually be part of what needs to be done in a nation as this. We are Nigerians, and every one of us are Nigerians. And at the end of the day, whatever that we need to do as Nigerians, we will have to go ahead and do it. Whether you are from Sokoto, whether you're from Imo State, whether you're from Jigawa, whether you're from any part of this country, the important thing is that you are a full-blooded Nigerian, and what justifies your inclusion into whatever that needs to be done in Nigeria. If the country needs you, and at the end of the day, why would anybody say you cannot be part of a process like this because you're Igbo, or because you're Yoruba, or because you're Kanuri, or because you're from any other zone in this country that does not fit to be part of that process? That is not a call a nation that has reached to this level should be considering at this time. And so at the end of the day, and at the end of a process like this, calling upon Nigerians to be upright and to ensure that whatever that we need to do as a nation, we put our heads together. That is what needs to be encouraged in a country as this. And so before I round up, I want to thank my colleagues that are right now far away in the US. I want to thank of course the producer of this program. I want to thank a whole lot of people that have been part of putting this program together for the past almost 10 months. But it's good, a thing that we are taking our time to bring this show together. And I can promise you that by the time we go full blast running this program, UBTA will come alive. I want to thank you, and I want to say, thank you so much for a project as this. Thank you so much.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Ngozi Bell.
My name is Robert Opara.
And I'm excited to be part of this new programming that is called the Urban and Business Trends in Africa. UBTA will be featuring stories from all around this great continent. We'll talk about the issues. We'll talk about the opportunities. We'll talk about the trends. We'll talk about the successes. We'll talk about the failures too. We'll talk to the youth. We'll talk to women. We'll talk to industry leaders. We'll talk to government officials and everyone in between.
We're going to be looking at issues of business in Africa. We're going to be looking at investments that are coming into the African region.
UBTA will be concerned about the disenfranchised and the enfranchised. We'll talk to the global leaders who have done amazing things outside and learn from them on how they can do the same things within the continent.
Looking into the Africa that we know and the Africa that we also don't know.
So join us in February as we launch this amazing program, UBTA, coming to a TV station near you.
Welcome to UBTA Television Live,
where the conversations are about you and I.